Welcome to IGH Going Rogue. Today is Monday, February 17th, and we have a kick-ass guest today. Old friend, Dave Drever. You probably heard of him, serial entrepreneur, business guy, entertainment, media, you name it. He's done it all across all industries, every aspect of business he's had his hands on at one point or another. Hey, Dave, welcome to Going Rogue. And there's nobody more rogue than you, right, buddy? Oh, wait.
Whatever you want.
There you go.
Running around the world, you got to be rogue or you don't play in that game. So thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure being your friend and watching you build a network from scratch, and just have the utmost respect for you. So
yeah, I appreciate it, man. And, I mean, we've been talking about this for way back to right after Trump's first administration, man. God, it's been so long. So walk us through, man. You've had your hands on everything. I know Endeavor's a partner of yours in one of your businesses. I mean, you can't get any bigger than that. They bought the UFC several years ago for $4 billion. So what a partner to have. How did you start? How did you get into this? What are you doing now? I know you're in Brazil right now with your hands in a lot of crucial stuff. Kind of walk us through the beginning. You've been on Larry King. Geez, why don't you just walk us through instead of me trying to ask you questions?
Yeah, I'll give you kind of the quick story of it. Was grew up in the media, kind of the genesis of media. So I had a handheld camera in my hands and started my own business at 17. By the time I was coming out of college, I got a call from a big producer in Hollywood named Mark Brown. Mark had just written and produced Barbershop, and that became the largest grossing urban film of all time at that time. And so I had this idea that video was going to go onto the internet. So we're talking 2003, 2004. And I started tinkering around with how to stream video over the internet, number one. But then number two, how to monetize it. And by 2005, 2006, we had figured out a way to put a PayPal wall in front of video that we were creating. And I went to bed one night, and I posted a link on a message board because we didn't have social media at the time. And I woke up the next morning, and 150 or 160 people had paid 99 cents to download the video. And that was kind of the day I said, we can make money while we sleep. If we create really good content, we have international distribution through the internet, and we can monetize it through whatever paywall, PayPal, or today there's 100 of them. Yeah. That you could really be a player. So we started by 2007. We had the number one viral video of the year.
I was about to ask you about that. So you had the number one viral video way back then. What was it? How did that happen?
Yeah, so we were doing 195 episodes, and one of them just happened to be a runway fashion show in Hollywood over, I think it was called the Sky Bar. And before the celebrity fashion show started, there was a kind of a martial artist group that came out, and the guy tried to do a flip, and he landed on his back, and it put a hole in the runway about the size of a model.
Wow.
And sure enough, the first model walks out on the catwalk with her head up, and she falls through the hole into the pool below. And I wound up licensing that to Letterman, Leno, I think South Korea, all over the world overnight. And Yahoo wound up claiming that to be the number one viral video of 2007. It went to 12 million hits on YouTube within the first few hours.
That's amazing.
So the lady that actually fell through that hole was the runner-up on The Bachelorette, or on The Bachelor.
Wow.
So she had a little bit of celebrity going for her. Sarah Welsh was her name. But the ironic part was that video got a call from Senator Conrad Burns' office to me, and he was running the telecommunications division of Senate, I believe, at the time. And they flew a guy out named Leo Giacometto, who wound up becoming my mentor, one of my best friends. And they said, hey, we're doing this thing with Google. It's called 30 Under 30. We're going to give $1 million to 30 kids under 30, and you're going to be the first one. And
wow.
And this was in a hotel lobby in San Diego. After that, I got an email from them saying you can never mention Google's involved in this. That became what's known as the Founders Fund, which Luke Nosek and Brian Singerman, all of Elon's kind of the PayPal.
Yeah, Peter Thiel and all those guys.
Yeah. They went on to do that, and I got sent to Bethesda, to Washington D.C. with the venture group, and we went to China.
Wow.
And I got trained on being a soft power expert and set up the digital export arm for the Chinese government. So that was in 2008, right around the Beijing Olympics. So I was there during that time, and learned and saw so much. But we wound up cutting a deal with the government to export the English language for Xinhua News Agency, Shanghai Media Group, and CCTV, so all the state-owned media. And that's when I realized it was a war strategy by the Chinese government.
Dude, that's amazing. That's an amazing story. So what a way to get capital, huh? Because of a viral video. So you were involved with the Founders Fund way at the beginning, huh?
Yeah, they were going to make me the first. So there was some. I still have the email. I'll send it to you off record, but for your validation. But they had some board issues with Peter and I think Sean were looking and thinking about how this would look for Google and all that. But yeah, I got sent to Beijing. So I was in Beijing and then in Tokyo, and that was really the start of me doing international business. And I was, I don't know, I was a young kid, maybe 24, 25 years old.
And what did you go to school for? Business?
You know what? I started in accounting.
Wow.
And realized that my skill set was more in strategic management. So I moved over to the business school in strategic management, and Sac State is where I graduated from. So, or where I went to school at. But that strategic management is where I was focused on.
Damn, that is that's an amazing story, man.
Yeah.
And so you've created several companies along the way. One of your companies, you have Endeavor as a partner. How did that happen? What does that company do? And is that partnership still ongoing, or?
Yeah. So that company was called Freely.
Okay.
And it kind of changed, but it started as just a Christian media, a cool, hip Christian media company that I'd want to work for. And I went into one of the board members, pitched it, and they said, I had a dream about this last night, and I don't know why nobody's doing this. And this is like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so that started this process. I was raising millions of dollars, and we were, out securing rights and doing big events. And so that it's changed. It's more of a social impact company now, but it's still alive and well, and I'm still working it all over the globe. So
I see.
They've always been a great partner.
I see your videos on social, man. If I ever need to get motivated, I just look for Drever. And and I see him somewhere, man, somewhere around the Ukraine, Europe, Brazil, somewhere. He's walking down the street and saying, "Get up, get the fuck up, get moving. It's a beautiful day. What are you doing?" It's awesome, bro.
It's just a blessing I'm still alive, because part of the Freely journey is I went to the most dangerous places in the world.
I know.
Where the cartels are at. I was in at this time last year. I was in Ukraine during the war. Had my life. I've had hits on me. I've had multiple things, but I had this vision of what I knew I really wanted to do, and that was to help and serve people. And so I just kept going and trying to figure out, like, before I ask anybody else to do it, let me go do it first. And so that's why I've been around the world, and I love international business. So, like, I'm in Brazil, as we were talking. I'm doing agriculture down here, and not in Brazil, but exporting agriculture. And I just love finding cool deals that help people. So,
dude, it's amazing, because you never know where the hell Drever is, right? And you just go on social and you look him up, and it's like, wait a minute, wasn't he like in L.A. last week, or wasn't he in Texas last week? Across the world, and always doing something. And you're right, because I remember seeing you in some of these shady places going, dude, this is a fucking gringo, dude. He's gonna get fucking, he's gonna get fucking slaughtered. Does he even know what the fuck he's doing? Holy shit! And lo and behold, you're here. You didn't get killed. So it's a blessing, and you're a Christian man. I know that. You have a lot of faith, so I'm sure the good Lord has kept you safe.
He has, but you have to have some street smarts. In Brazil, my nickname is Gringo Loco.
Yeah, there you go.
In Mexico, my name is Primo Loco.
Oh, that's so funny.
And so I've been able to kind of navigate it. And that was only because I was from California, where there's a lot of gangs and shady stuff going on. So I was aware of my surroundings and knew what not to do. But I think there's a guardian angel probably watching.
Without a doubt, brother. But last week we had a law enforcement expert and security expert, and we had another guy who's worked narcotics and cartels and all that, and telling us about the dangers of the cartels and how they operate and everything. And I could just keep on thinking. I was like, how the hell did Drever survive that crap, man? What a crazy son of a bitch.
And I've been talking to one of our senators about this because I have a little bit of a angst about spring break coming up.
Yeah.
And some retaliation because I know we're going really hard after it. But and Homan came out and he said it's the cartels are like a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah.
And they're so sophisticated, it's like beyond your imagination.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like Bamboo Union, they might be manipulating commodities over here, and then you got arms dealers over in Europe somewhere doing something, and then you got the El Salvadorian gangbangers. So when you put all that together, it's you can't go after the onesies and twosies.
Yeah. You
kind of start looking at the head of the snake, and then that's when I think it starts getting dangerous for our law enforcement and our military. So praying that and I think a lot of it comes from poverty, man. Like these people don't have anything to live for, and but firsthand, I'm glad that I'm safe, and
Yeah, I had this DA guy that I've known for a couple of decades. He was telling me, he was like, dude, we all know who the cartel guys are. I mean, they and exactly what you said, they're like a Fortune 500 company. If we want a meeting with them, we call their office, talk to their secretary, and book an appointment. And he goes, and their offices are in high rises, real office buildings. They're not like down some path, in the dark, and so it's pretty crazy. Organized crime is really, really bad, and like you said, when you get into the weeds, that's where it's really violent and dangerous and all that. But the guys at the top, they're business guys.
The young guys are the dangerous ones.
Yeah.
And you can go to any strip club or nightclub and find them.
Yeah.
But when the higher levels where it's hard to navigate, that's when it looks more like a corporation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you will never know who those people are. They go by, like in Mexico, the Gabo is the guy's name.
Yeah.
And Gabo means no name. So it's like I can find Gabo. So it's it's all based on trust, and you can't be a gringo and try to navigate that.
So you guys represent talent. You move stuff socially, digitally. What's your sweet spot?
Right now, I truly love celebrity management, and the issue with celebrity management, I have one main client right now. Her name's Kelly Ben Simone. She's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but she's really a real estate agent, luxury real estate agent out of New York, and just built a tremendous brand. And Kelly and I have a really good relationship where I just put on iHeart doing a podcast, and we're doing her book and some other things. But the problem with celebrity management is there's lawyers, agents, managers, family members, and you have to start carrying 4 phones just to manage everybody's requests.
Yeah.
So you just don't have enough manpower, enough hours in a day to maybe service a lot of clients by yourself. So I'm a small shop, so I actually love serving celebrities and helping them change the world for the better. Where my sweet spot is probably international relations, international business. I know how to navigate the world. I've been on more trains, buses, taxis, like Lake Lugano, Switzerland, where all the Russian oligarchs went to hang out. Would have been one of my favorite trips I've ever taken. And how I got there, you have to like go through Milan and get on a train, and then you got to get on a bus, and then you got to go to this little Italian restaurant to get a taxi, and then it takes you over the mountains into Lake Lugano, and it's like these adventures are what drives kind of my passion to keep doing this.
That's great, man. So you're saying that you were off the air. You were saying, what you were involved in Brazil. Did you want to talk about that a little bit, or is that,
Yeah, no, I think this is something, I know you're a firm Trump supporter, and as we both are, and I think what he's doing with international trade is like pulling up a tree stump, and the roots are so deep in international trade. So, I'm here sourcing agricultural products for temporary pain points.
Yeah.
I won't speak specifically about what agricultural products, just because there's vultures and there's market.
Yeah, competitive advantage, right? So
exactly. So, but we're here doing ag, and the disruption I think that can come from tariffs and the trade stuff is something that I'm monitoring very closely. When your shelves don't have certain products on them. Yeah. Where the prices are skyrocketing, the general public or population gets restless pretty quick.
Yeah.
One of my mentors, Leo, who I talked about earlier, he said we're only 9 meals away from total chaos
in the world, right?
If you missed breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 days straight, the whole world would go chaotic.
Yeah.
And this is why Xi and communism, that is their food safety or food security is the number one threat to communism. They're 9 meals away from destruction.
But that's true here in the U.S. too, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
the last time I was in the U.S. or one of the last times I was in Columbus Circle. I was living in New York in Columbus Circle.
Yeah.
And I went to CVS and a box of Cheerios was $12.
Holy shit! Are you serious?
Yeah, and I was like, this isn't sustainable, man. And now they're starting to shut down CVS's and all this, but I was like, I can't live like this.
Dude, that's crazy.
And oddly enough, I was going back to Ukraine, and I found a last-minute cruise for $1,600, 16 days, and it was $100 a day, all-inclusive, room, board, everything. And I jumped on that and was headed back to Ukraine because I couldn't. Like, it's not sustainable to pay for hotels and taxis and $12 boxes of Cheerios in New York.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you guys are doing it, but God bless you. And I'm watching as Elon and Trump kind of drain the swamp, or the home prices and how that's
What do you think about that?
All the homes going on sale and the mortgage call downs and all that. So it's a fascinating time. I almost feel like part of me just wants to be sit on the sidelines and just wait for 6 months until all this stuff shuffles out, and then get in so you don't lose your ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I think especially on real estate right now is you got to sit back, right? I wouldn't buy a fucking door right now. There's no way.
Right. Yeah.
What do you think? You think is it a 6-month window? Is it a 12-month, 18-month window? What do you see in real estate? I know you're pretty active and know a lot of players in there.
So depending on the market, I mean, I haven't really tracked U.S. too tightly, but I think you're market by market. I really feel like it's market by market, and like Maryland's prices are going up because everybody's leaving D.C. Yeah. So I don't think you can make a blanket statement of, hey, real estate's bad. I think it's almost like sit back, let the dust settle, and then see if you want to move on something.
Well, Florida, I'll tell you about Florida. The condo market is dropping. There's so much inventory because they passed a law that, starting January 1st this year, all the associations needed to have infrastructure reserves in their accounts, right? Because of that Surfside building that collapsed. So all of a sudden, they got hit with all these assessments, in some cases like $150,000, versus, $400 a month. And people are like, holy shit, I need to sell and get out of here. Yeah. So there was this mass thing, but now DeSantis is talking about removing the property tax in Florida. Mm-hmm. He's saying, tax should be transactional and pay it once when you buy it. You shouldn't pay it every year. So I can imagine if that happens, that's going to be a way to offset it, and you're going to get another boom again in real estate, probably in Florida. It'll just spike prices that are already high and already crazy. I mean, you look at South Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, all the way up to Palm Beach. They used to be cheap compared to D.C., and now D.C. is cheap as shit. It's like the freaking ghetto compared to the pricing that's down here.
Yeah, it's any investment that's based on legislation.
Yeah,
makes me hyper nervous because
they can change it back, right?
You're waiting for the votes to come down, and it's almost a little bit of gambling in that regard, And then how long does legislation take to pass? How long does it take to be put in place? Can it be reversed if a new administration comes in or a new leadership comes in? And so legislation-based investing, it just makes me a little bit hesitant because most investments are hard enough.
Yeah.
Because you have controlled costs.
Yeah.
When the variable costs start coming in, pandemics, weather, legislation, then you get a little bit in the weeds.
Well, talking about weeds, what about weed? I mean, that's a crazy investment. I mean, a lot of people invested big time in weed, thinking it was going to blow up. And you look at the weed stocks, and they're almost delisted, right? Many delisted.
Yeah. Yeah, I was reading one celebrity just lost their ass on that somewhere. I can't remember, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, those were, supposed to be red hot, and I think Drudge is running an article today about cannabis drinks now replacing alcohol, and like I said, legislation-based investing, it gets a little tricky.
Hey, so when you were
and because I'm not a lobbyist. If I was a lobbyist and I had deep lobbying pockets or relationships, I might have some intel on that. But I always wanted to be a lobbyist.
I'm going to have the pot lobbyist on next week.
Are you?
Yeah. This guy Don Murphy, he does lobbying for the cannabis industry. So I'm going to have him on, and I'm going to ask him some tough questions. First of all, I'm going to ask him, how is that going? Where does he see that happening? And then some tough questions, right? There's a lot of information and doctors coming out there saying that, hey, marijuana is not that safe, that it can cause psychosis, and, people under 26 should not use marijuana because the brain is still developing and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And, what kind of safeguards are they thinking about in legislation? Because just taking it out of the controls list and making it a recreational drug like alcohol, I don't know if that's going to work, but who knows?
Yeah, the prohibition of it. I'm not sure. I also know that in California, there's some laws and regulations about how the cash gets deposited and how we're taxing it and making sure that it's all taxed. It's kind of be a free for all. Yeah. And if you can't tax it, it kind of has no benefit to the state. It's just kind of like.
Well, that's a tax and spend state, right? That's a tax and spend state. You ran off and you abandoned California a while ago, right? But you're a longtime California guy, right? Yeah,
no, I was born and raised there, and I still have family there, and I hope to be back one day. But I was down in Texas. I think you knew this, but I was working with the American Sniper family, Taya and the kids, and I did that for years and years. And then I got an opportunity to buy a football team in Czech Republic, in Prague, and I went to do that. And then was looking to buy a basketball team in India with Kurt Warner, the former NFL. Yeah. He's the chairman of the league. And then I got the opportunity to buy the League of Ukraine, the Football League of Ukraine, 16 teams. So we're just waiting to see. I think all eyes are on Saudi Arabia this week. Not to timestamp this, but I think tomorrow is the start of the meetings. I don't know if Kyiv was invited. I don't know if Kyiv's going to attend, but I think all eyes are on Saudi Arabia for the peace negotiations, so it doesn't become another Afghanistan. And then once that deal's struck, then we can start looking at doing business in Ukraine. But right now, it's a little too.
I wouldn't go do business in Ukraine today, though, right? I mean, that's
no. I was looking at agriculture deals there, but one of the things, because they have, it's the breadbasket of Europe or the world, and one of the things I said is, what if Putin uses a tactical nuke? Is the dirt? How long is the dirt going to be bad for? The water. So these were things we've been looking at, and it's not just me. I have a whole team of people. but we're looking at real estate in Palma de Mallorca. All over the world, deals are popping up all over the place.
And you've been involved in this agro stuff, cattle stuff for a while, right? I remember, we talked about some cattle people. I can't remember what state, friends of yours.
Yeah, no. So I was a part of a deal called Agri Energy, and their concept was to take the methane gas, the slipstream that comes out of the methane digesters at cattle farms. So the feces that gets digested in a methane digester. There's a slipstream that comes out. You run that into a pyrolysis process, and then you can kick out clean diesel fuel and clean jet fuel. So, and this was all based on carbon credits, state tax credits. So it is very legislation-driven investment.
Yeah.
And so I was traveling all over the place looking at farms in Wisconsin, and still to this day, we're still looking at the cattle business. Yeah, Brazil exports a lot.
Yeah.
There's one in South Africa we're looking at right now.
Dude, I love Brazil, man. When I was at AT&T, we had an office in Sao Paulo, and I used to go there all the time. My office was in Morumbi, right next to the Hilton.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of fun, especially for Formula One races, because AT&T had a team. So I used to have to host that, and we would have the CEOs and CFOs for most of our global companies, most of our global clients, and we would host a breakfast at the Hilton, and then go up to the heliport up on the roof, and we'd fly them all out to the track because of safety, right?
Yeah.
Because imagine if we would have had anybody kidnapped or something, it would have been a global scandal. So the safest way to move that many execs would be by helicopter. So we'd have to fly everybody out through helicopter out to the track, spend all day at the tracks, pit row. It was a blast. But I love Brazil. Sao Paulo was awesome. The cachaça bars. That was where I went to my first Fogo de Chao, and I'll still continue going there. It's a great place, man. I love Brazil. I love Sao Paulo.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I fell in love with it. Like I said, there's multiple reasons.
Yeah.
One of the reasons is I get to wake up every morning and check the exchange rate. Yeah. So, what is a dollar to the real? And I think when I got here it was 5.2 or 5.4 to 1, and now it got up to like 6.3 or 6.4 to 1. I think it's back down at 5.7 today, but it's cost effective. The people are respectful. They're like the people I've engaged with. Now, I did see a headline earlier today that said you would have to take the homicides from United States, Canada, Russia, Europe, Australia, put them all together to equal the homicides in Brazil.
Yeah, no,
I've only felt
Sao
scared
Paulo's
once.
dangerous too. So
I've been arrested twice. I've only felt scared once. Yeah, but for fighting. But
that's awesome.
That's awesome. It was all fine. It was all elementary stuff, so it was fun.
Yeah.
But I'm here. I'm living here. I'm a gringo, and I'm doing business here. So I wanted to know the area and make sure that I wasn't going to get in real trouble, and make sure I had respect of the people in my community, which we've built. And so I'm excited about it. So,
any involvement in MMA, being close to Endeavor and those guys?
Yeah, I mean, because I was living in Sacramento at the time when it happened, and flying back and forth. But so we had Cody Garbrandt, was one of our fighters. So Cody and I became really good friends. He actually go to church with me and my family. And I remember going to lunch with Cody one time, and I'm like, "Hey, are you going to beat this certain guy?" I won't say his name, but are you going to beat this certain guy? And he's like, "If I don't knock him out in round 1 or 2, or like in the first round, I'm going to lose because he's juicing."
Is that right?
And it wound up being true. The guy got caught. It was TJ Dillashaw, I'll just say it.
Yeah.
So, but you start seeing kind of these behind the scenes stories of the industry. But my MMA past goes way back. I actually Zions. Do you remember this company Zions? It was a energy drink company. They're like the first like center of the ring sponsor for UFC.
Yeah.
But
you're talking about the original UFC.
Yeah, UFC.
Yeah. Like the ultimate fighting championship, the before Dana and the Fertitta brothers.
Well, I was actually with the Fertitta. I went to the Fertittas. I was in Vegas, and when the Fertittas were trying to get their gaming license, I was in court with them. I was sitting in the back watching it all. But I was following this very closely. I would drive out to Vegas all the time. And but Zions, Dana and Russ Pike, the guy that owns Zions, they had a kickback program. This is how UFC was started. So Dana would sell Russ the the center of the octagon sponsorship for Zions for $1 million.
Nice.
And then Dana would give Russ $500,000 back. So it was this Vegas mentality of like kind of this underworld. Then it became mainstream.
Yeah.
I actually did the e-commerce site for Zions.
Very
so I
cool.
was helping sell. And one time they gave me these UFC gave me these pills, or it was maybe Zions. It was actually Zions gave me these pills, and they said if you want a good workout, take 3 of these. It's our brand new workout supplement. So I go work out. I take 3 of them. I go to the grocery store and I pass out.
Holy shit!
And I cracked my head. I cracked my head open, and I woke up in the hospital getting my head stapled shut together.
Holy shit!
So I went down to Laguna Beach with Russ. I said, Russ, what happened? And he said, oh, we gave you the wrong formula. That was actually 2 pills per one. Oh, so you actually took 6 pills.
So what'd you have, like a heart attack or something?
I almost died. But those were the early days of UFC. It was very wild west, run and gun. They've done a phenomenal job building a new sport. Yeah. And now I think Connor's in the bare knuckle league, and
Dana really loves his power slap. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that thing is crazy when he talks about it. He's so emotional about it. So is Fertitta, right? Lorenzo. They absolutely love the whole power slap. And like they're saying, it's like, man, we get to do it all over again, like from zero. And I can't believe it's got that much audience. And it's, dude, the fans are crazy. I mean, have you watched that at all?
Yeah, no, I haven't. I think I saw a clip by Dana saying something like the way he found it was by accident. I forget the guy's name.
Yeah.
The Bear, something like that. They introduced him to it. But yeah, I think if he's a guy like me as an entrepreneur, the excitement of building something from scratch is he needs that juice. He needs that excitement. To keep him going, because he's on top of the mountain right now.
Dude, he's got. I mean, talk about fuck you money. That guy's got fuck you money, right? I mean, he gambles like $1 million every day, which is insane. You know, and
he's got Trump showing up at his events, and it's.
So let's talk politics a little bit. I know you're not a big fan of the president, or at least his style. I don't know if you're a Democrat or Republican. You don't have to say either one. It doesn't matter. But what do you think about Doge?
So I'm a far right Republican by nature.
You are.
But I don't know, man. I haven't probably said this out loud outside of my head.
Dude,
but
hey, you know the tagline here is truth bombs, F bombs, no bullshit. So let's fucking go, right? So you can say whatever you want.
I'll say Trump and Elon make me nervous for the main reason of chaos.
Okay.
And they were the only choice by far.
And let me pause you right there, because it's interesting that you say that, because they are the master of chaos, right? So if you've read anything, for anybody watching, if you've never read any of the books or audio books or whatever on Elon and how he built his business, he's fucking chaotic, dude. He's the master of chaos, right? And so is Trump, right?
Yeah. So I think you have world markets, you have the public, everybody's trying to respond to this unnatural setting of chaos, this environment of chaos.
Yeah.
And it makes me nervous that, things that people thought were going smooth, they're, a little rocky, but now they're going like this, and it's going to disrupt so much. And my fear is that the average American is not ready for that amount of chaos. I'm used to it because I deal with it in business. I deal with people yelling and screaming and F-bombs and lawsuits and all the threats and all that. I don't know if the average American is ready for that.
Dude, the regular person is not used to being rattled, right? They're pretty stable. They get up in the morning, they go to work, do their job, come back, have dinner with their wife, kids, watch some TV, maybe go to sleep, right? And do it all over again. They're not used to chaos, right? They're not used to being rattled. They're not used to, like you said, lawsuits and fuck yous and threats and, and all that crap. There's something you just made me remind me of something. A guy named Paul Stoltz. I don't know if you remember him. Peak Learning. He's the guy that created AQ, adversity quotient, like intellectual quotient. And, I was telling somebody last night about it that, I scored really, really, really high, like off the charts. And he pulled me in, at a global summit that I was with when I was with Tyco. And he said, hey, your score on this AQ test was the highest ever we've ever seen in the world. We've seen high scores like that from, very troubled individuals, like, like kid soldiers, I'm serious. He goes, from like kid soldiers or, rape or abuse victims that have, overcome this and blah, blah. I mean, what's up with you? And I was like, dude, I've never been raped. I'm not a kid soldier, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express one night, But I said, dude, look, I've been doing Latin America for fucking, 30 years. Yeah. You want to talk about chaos and shit like that? That's adversity. Like you were talking about, hey, you're in Kingston or in New Kingston. You got to know where you're going or you're going to get fucking killed, right? You're in Bogota. You're in Lima. You're in, anywhere in Latin America and Mexico, and Ciudad de Mexico. Any of those places, if you go down the wrong street, somebody can cut you open, right? So, or shoot you. So that's being aware of your surroundings. But I can't remember what the hell I was talking about, and I cut you off. Oh, the chaos. Yeah. So people are not used to that, but I think people really welcome what's happening and uncovering all this waste and fraud, right? Don't you think that's a good thing? I
agree with that. And I would say this. I am so impressed with their ability, their energy level. Yeah. For them to grind as hard as they're grinding, I mean, you think looking at my socials is like, where's Drever at today? Yeah. Those guys are 10 times worse than me. I don't know how where the energy's coming from, but they're always on. Elon's doing Grok 3 tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific, and so you start seeing these guys. Trump's at Daytona, Saudi Arabia is happening tomorrow. So it's, how do they have this much energy and time to do something? I can do one thing. Yeah. Okay, they're doing 10 things at a high level. Yeah. They obviously have unlimited resources, but
it takes genius to do that.
Somehow they have energy that seems supernatural.
And it also takes genius, right? I think both those guys are geniuses. Elon Musk,
processing power.
Yeah. But you're right. I mean, look, Trump is 78, and look at the energy he's got. He's got more energy than sleeps 4 hours a day. And he never stops. And so you're a Republican. Yeah. What do you think about the cabinet? Who do you like? Who do you not like? Who are you worried about? Who's got question marks?
I don't know if I don't know if I have any takes yet. I think I like Vance and Rubio. I think those guys are working hard. Did I lose you, or are we just going full screen on me?
No. We're full screen on you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I like Vance and Rubio. Yeah. Rubio's got a tough job. I think Marco would be the one I'd keep my eyes on. Yeah. On the heels of Blinken. That they're giving him a tall task to unwind the Biden debacle. So. Yeah.
Well, and also he's got to articulate what Trump says into in the language that people understand, right? So so that's going to be tough. But yeah, you're right. I mean, trying to unwind the whole 4 years of Biden's going to be tough for Marco. And really impose this new Trump agenda is going to be interesting. But we'll see.
I think McMahon at education. I think that's kind of a nothing burger because I think they're just going to try to wind that down.
Yeah.
The RFK Jr. thing, I love change, so I'm supportive of that. I know there's a lot of people in the medical community on both sides of that.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. I was one of the biggest conspiracy theorists on the vaccines. And
so was I, man. And come on. But you know what? Most of those conspiracy theories turned out to be true, right? It was a total bullshit.
No, I was the one saying we should have bombed the Three Gorges Dam.
Yeah.
Because of fentanyl and COVID. They fucked us. So, let's end it and get this thing over with instead of dragging it over. You don't want forever wars? That's how you do it right there.
Yeah.
The PLC's all down that river, fucking flood it out, and be done with it.
Yeah.
From my UN sources, they're telling me China wants this is your bomb drop from me.
Okay.
They want to put 800 million people in the Mississippi Valley, and the Mississippi Valley mirrors the Yangtze River in China. So they know how to harvest it, transport it, things like this. So I think that's one to watch. These are the same people telling me we got to send ACTMs to Ukraine. ACTMs, put them on an 8,000-pound truck, drive them to the border, shoot 160 miles into Russia, and that would speed things up. And then also DEWs, direct energy weapons, was going to be one of the next things. So, but yeah, China and the Yangtze River and the Mississippi Valley, putting 800 million people there is kind of their long-term plan.
Yeah.
So that's one to watch. But I don't think that's going to happen in this administration. But like I said, COVID, what they told me is, we're worried about killing innocent people. Well, I talked to a senator this week. They said fentanyl's killing 76,000 people per year.
Yep.
COVID killed how many people?
Yeah.
So they can kill our innocent people, but we can't respond and say, hey, knock it off, stop. And there's only one way to do that. Everybody's a professional liar, especially in China.
Yeah.
So they'll say, we want peace. We want to do this.
And you've done business there
diplomatically, and then they just do something else. So.
Yeah, and you've done plenty of business in China. You know how they operate, man. They're full of shit and they're liars. And
they're the worst.
Yeah.
We had to yell. We were in a meeting once, and he's passed away now. But my mentor in soft power, his name was Jack Fensterstock. And Fensterstock, they lied to us, and they were slow playing the contract, and he yelled at them so bad. He was like 80 years old. He yelled at them so bad. I'm like, Jack, I don't know if we're going to get out of here. I'm like 23, 24 years old.
Yeah. They're going to throw us in a gulag.
I don't know if I'm going to be doing naked push-ups in a Beijing jail tonight, Jack, but you got to call me.
That's right.
But yeah, they turned out they were professional liars, and they had this long-term strategy plan care about, anybody in that process. So.
That's great. Hold on. I think your signal's buffering. Your signal's buffering.
I'm buffering?
Yeah.
It looked like it.
Yeah. All right. I think you're back. No, now you're frozen. There he is. He's back. Okay. We got him back. All right. So, so we talked about that. What do you think about Cash over at the FBI?
Gosh, I wish I wasn't frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen.
I think Cash deserves a shot.
Yeah.
I think Cash deserves a shot, just even for the Epstein logs. But when you talk chaos, there could be another level of chaos that comes with that. So, I think I would give Cash a shot.
Yeah, hell yeah. I hope he gets confirmed. I think Ratcliffe over at CIA was sharp. I think, there's a lot of people that love Tulsi. I'm one of those guys that I'm very suspect about her. Just because, I don't know, she was a Democrat, dude. And, I don't know. I guess we're going to find out, right?
Too early to tell on a lot of questions, but I think you give him a shot. But is Trump having the ability to have the by his side to execute, and then results, say.
You're freezing up. You're freezing up pretty hard, man. You're freezing up pretty bad.
Am I?
Yeah. Can you try and reconnect and see if that works? We'll go to a commercial break real quick. while you reconnect, and we'll see you on the other side of the ad.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, Mr. Producer, let it roll.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed, because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
All right. Did Dave come back? There he is.
We still slow?
Yeah, we're buffering still. I don't know why. That's a shame, because it was like perfect earlier. Maybe there's a lot of bandwidth consumption in Sao Paulo right now.
Yeah, okay, it could be.
But I think it works. Let's see. I mean, you're a little shady anyways, so the audio's coming through.
I actually like the blurred effect. It's
That's right.
better for my.
That's right.
But what I was saying is, I would give Trump what he wants to try to do the job he wants to do, and see the results, and then edit accordingly.
Yeah. Hey, Dave. So what drives you? What motivates you? You're a ball of energy yourself. We see your social media posts every day, walking down the street, talking. Sometimes very, very early at sunrise. I mean, you're out there every day, bro, like nonstop. You never rest. I think you also have an Elon and Trump syndrome, and you probably sleep 4 or 5 hours a day. Maybe sometimes you don't sleep. I don't know. Because depending on the time of day, sometimes you're posting at all hours, right? So you really love what you do. That's very clear. You're very passionate about your work and the work that you guys are doing. Talk to for entrepreneurs, people that want to start a business, for younger generation that are thinking about what they want to do, or their dreams, or they want to start a company. You've done it all, man. What do you recommend? What do you suggest? What's your advice to them?
Yeah, so working with government, celebrities like the Jackson family, seeing it, I kind of went in reverse, and I have a community here in Sao Paulo of kids. I don't talk about it publicly much, but I have a community of kids that I go feed every few days.
Wow.
That's what drives me. I just love helping people on my street, in my community, and helping them until God calls me somewhere else.
Gotcha. Mr. Producer, did you find the Larry King video?
I think so.
All right, let's see. Let's put it on.
Well, I don't know if it's about. I skimmed through it, but I don't think it's about the viral video. It's about like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, so he was involved with a documentary on Joe Jackson, right? Michael Jackson's father. So I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put it on.
Yeah, put it on. There you go.
We now welcome
Turn
to
it up.
Larry King Live, Dave Drever and Lisa Love. Dave is co-founder of Zonger Global Entertainment Network, an executive producer of Meet Joe Jackson, an unreleased TV reality show about the Jackson family patriarch. Lisa Love is director of strategic partnerships for Zonger and executive producer of Meet Joe Jackson. What's the show all about, and why haven't we seen it, Dave?
Well, the show is about Joe, and we wanted to bring balance to what the media has always presented about Joe. Get to know him, who he is.
How long have you been shooting it?
We shot him for about a year. So in 2008, roughly, we shot him roughly for about a year.
Lisa, why haven't we seen it?
Well, you haven't seen it yet because we didn't.
Turn up the volume on the player.
What we're going to do with this great footage? When
Yeah,
we started
that's
filming
lovely,
Joe, we found out that there was a lot
All right, that's fine. Turn it off.
than what people knew.
But that was pretty cool, man. You made Larry King. Oh, look at him. He's back. The bandwidth came back. Dude, yeah, you're back like full 4K UHD, man. I don't know what you did. Maybe it was the Larry King effect. But dude, how fucking awesome was that? Being on Larry King, dude, and that guy was like the boss too when you were on there. It wasn't like the washed up Larry King when he was on RT at the end, right?
Yeah, no, you know what? So speaking of RT, one of my first interviews I gave to China was at RT in D.C. But I wound up going on to represent Larry King, and I put him back on the radio. So, that was my first experience with Larry, and, that was during the height of the Michael Jackson death.
Yeah.
So it was, the phones were ringing, everybody was trying to get tickets to the funeral at Staples Center. And it was a wild time. And we had owned like a 40-hour library of footage. And so ABC had gotten some of that, and there was big drama around that. It was a very fascinating time for me to live through, just because Michael was such a big star, and then here I am on the largest international broadcast, and it changed my life forever, just to see the power of media, the power of entertainment.
Yeah.
I remember landing in LAX airport, and people were like on the ground crying. They were wearing white gloves like Michael wore. He was just such an icon. So to be around the family at that time.
That's crazy, bro.
I think Jafar, who's in our show, Jafar is now going to replay Michael in the new biopic. So
you guys did a documentary, right? Or a series, or reality series? What did it end up being? I forgot to ask. And how did you get involved in that? Did it air, and where?
It aired on ABC, and we got involved with it through the security team. We knew the security guards. And this was before Michael announced he was going back on the tour with AEG. So there was nothing really going on with the Jacksons at the time. And they said, hey, we think you should follow the family. And so we'd go to Havenhurst, and we filmed in the bedroom, and we filmed Joe and Catherine and all the grandkids. And we just started collecting footage with no idea Michael was going back on tour, and with no idea that he was going to pass away. Yeah. So when he died, we just had all this footage, and then we still haven't released it yet.
What?
Yeah, we got into bidding awards with multiple networks, and we got side-doored by one of the brothers, and it kind of paused it. And so we've just been we've been sitting on it, and one day I think we'll release it. So
that's amazing, dude. That is a gem right there that you're holding on to, man.
Yeah.
That's got to be a multi-million-dollar ticket that you're holding. Easy.
Yeah, and I, every time, something significant happens with the family, there's always calls going like, hey, you guys want to sell it? Yeah, Joe died. Do you want to sell it? Or, whatever it is. So I think at the right time, whatever God has for that, it will be aired. And like I said, it's 40 hours. It's got to be one of, if not the largest library of footage.
That's amazing. Hey, so you've also produced shows or documentaries that have been on Prime, on Netflix, on other platforms, right? Talk to us about that. And how did you make that happen? How easy or hard is it to get something on Prime or Netflix? I would assume impossible, right?
It's very hard. Yeah, it's very hard. It's increasingly hard because there's a lot of people that will debt finance projects. So and then they go to Netflix or to Prime and expect, like, they may like overproduce and spend $4 million to produce a movie, and then go to Netflix and go, oh, they're easily going to pay me $10 million because it's so great. And Netflix is like, $250,000 is what we'll pay. So a lot of projects just from the beginning get upside down.
Yeah.
So if you don't have like a distribution commitment from the beginning, it's like almost ridiculous to spend money on production. Otherwise, you wind up with a really expensive hard drive. But I've been able to mount a few projects. One of the first projects I did in Hollywood was the first Netflix original.
Yeah.
And then I just did a Netflix original recently within the last few years. and about my client Amberly Snyder. And Amberly was a paralyzed barrel racer and rodeo. That's called Walk Ride Rodeo. So I negotiated that deal directly with the lawyers at Netflix, and did a good job for Amberly on that. So, but I put stuff on Prime quite a bit. I've actually been looking at setting up my own distribution company.
Is that right?
It would be with Amazon Prime. So,
well, we got to talk, man. We got to talk because there's something out there that that I think is right up your alley, and we could definitely use your help with. So
brokering content distribution is easier. Like owning a distribution company, it's way more work than anybody knows.
Yeah. Because
of all the territories and the closed captioning and the rights and the chain of title and the insurance and the list they give you of deliverables is take you a week to deliver something. So
Jesus.
But yeah, I'm happy to talk about it.
Yeah, man, let's do that, man. I'll definitely reach out to you after after the show, and and we can talk about it. I think you're gonna love the concept and the idea. I know you will. It's right up your alley too. So we'll talk about it. Dude, it's been a pleasure, man. Having you. We've been all over the map. You have so much information. We haven't even scratched the surface. Hopefully, you'll come back. And keep us posted on your adventures. And where can people follow you? Where can they wake up and get those motivational videos from Drever at 4 o'clock in the morning with the sunrise in Sao Paulo or wherever in the world he is?
So my Instagram is the best place to follow me, at _Dreve. My email is dave@freely.com. But I would say Instagram is probably, if you want those global early morning videos, it would be Instagram. That's my or WhatsApp 213-264-4794. That would be you can find me. I'm not hard to find. I always kind of joke about it because if somebody wants to get me, I'm like literally.
You give them the address, bro. You give them the address where you are. I mean, I'm standing on the corner of so and so. I was like, dude. Somebody's going to pick you up.
That was last Tuesday, and I time released it, so now I'm in a whole different country.
There you go, a whole different time zone. Right? So, absolutely. Hey, dude, it's been a pleasure, man. I appreciate you, man.
You too, buddy.
I'll reach out to you afterwards.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. Thanks, bud.
All right, bye.
All right, take care. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys had a good time with Drever. The guy's, he's been everywhere, done everything, accomplished so much. He was the original recipient of funding from the Founders Fund. Peter Thiel, those guys. That's an amazing story. Been on Larry King Live. He's, one of his partners is Endeavor, the largest entertainment company in the world. Travels around the world. He's a regular guy, man. He's just a regular guy with so much success. Like you said, he's put out so many things on Netflix, on Prime. He's done it all, man. He's done it all, and especially in business, now in agro, and man, we're gonna have him back. He's got so much to talk about. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Follow him. I'm not kidding when I say that his videos on Instagram they're a lot of fun. You can just earmark that or get notifications when he pops them in, and if it doesn't put a smile on your face, it'll make you laugh, or or it'll pick you up. Because he throws in a lot of motivation stuff in there as well. So anyways, guys, tomorrow, do not miss tomorrow. We have the amazing Sarah Carter. She's going to join us tomorrow. As you guys know, she's a contributor on Fox for a long, long time. She also has her own podcast and radio show, the Sarah Carter Show. Former Breitbart, right? She's one of the first reporting from the border. We're going to talk to her about that and the job that Homan's doing, and she's going to share a lot of shit. So do not miss it. Remember, you can find us on Rumble, Spotify, Apple, Screecher, Stitcher, Pandora, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio. Download us if you want to listen to us, or go to Rumble and you can watch us. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Take care.